Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the K&M 495 Sportscast. My name is Kyle. I'm here with Mike Reed. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. We finally got that 30-pack. We got the beer going. We're ready.
Oh, we are
ready to talk some sports.
We came prepared today.
Came prepared. It's hot down here, though. I'm sweating like Michael Vick at a dog park right now.
So it was kind of a bittersweet weekend for me, personally. We got to see the Wizards win. Yeah. I mean, that was crucial.
Yeah.
But the Capitals, I mean, they came out the first game. I mean, we talked about it last week in the podcast. That we said the games that these guys are losing, it's not a landslide. They're fighting hard. I mean, you have to give a lot of respect to Toronto.
Oh, yeah, Toronto. I mean, Toronto's a young team. They're a very young team. They're healthy. I mean, this is not what you want to see right now with the Capitals. And I know it's only been 2 games, but like it just kind of after both games, I mean, they went into extra periods, and it's just you don't want to see this right now. I know I don't want to say that tonight is a must-win game because it's not. I mean, there's still plenty more games left, but this is about as close to a must-win game as you can have without actually being a Game 7.
Absolutely. No, you're 1-1 right now. I mean, you're in Toronto. If you can pull this one out, it gives you a very good advantage against the opposition.
Oh, definitely. And the Caps are going to have to come out hot right away.
Absolutely.
They're going to have to get the home fans out of the picture. I mean, they're going to have to come out hot. They're one of the best first-period teams in the NHL. They probably are the best. So they just need to continue that from the regular season. Right, they got to get going early.
Yeah, and we knew that Henderson was the hottest goalie in the NFL in the NHL coming in.
Oh yeah.
The funny thing is you always hear everyone say the Stanley Cup playoffs is completely different, right?
Oh yeah.
And we saw the goals and the goals against for each team, and we thought that the Capitals were going to be able to get the puck on net, but you've seen that they can't. Like it only comes in the power play. I mean, on the 5-on-3, it came off of a deflection from Justin Williams, and it was hard. But what I was really happy to see is Ovechkin get a goal.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
when Ovechkin gets a goal, it makes it so much easier for everyone else. It takes the pressure off everyone else's shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Alex Ovechkin, as good as Oshie is, Alex Ovechkin is the Washington Capitals. That's your guy. That's your star player. It's Alex Ovechkin. He's one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
They need to ride him. He needs to get going. He needs to continue this. He needs to, he needs to get on pace. Really, the entire team, I don't know, man. I always get so depressed thinking about DC teams in the playoffs. I just don't trust it enough. And I know it's only been 2 games, but they were both very good games. And it's just frustrating. Like, the Capitals are so good. They shouldn't have lost the home ice. Yeah. They shouldn't have. No. There's no way that they should have. And that's where it gets frustrating. And of course, you don't want to be negative because it's only been 2 games, like I said. But you always get this feeling that it's going to blow. Something's going to happen.
But we said it last week. It just feels different.
It does.
It does. And they're not losing these games by a landslide, like we said.
They're not getting outplayed.
These are very hard games, and this is the way the Stanley Cup playoffs are.
Yeah, and that's true.
They are playing well. They're playing together, but you see the fight. And that was one of my 3 keys for them to win was that they had to come out fast. I wanted them to be the enforcer. Mm-hmm. Because whenever you think about a smaller opposition that's faster than you, you want to show the grit. You want to show that, you are fast. But when you come down into our zone and we're on defense, we're going to make sure that you're on your back every time you try to come and play. And I loved how that Matthews has not done much. Yeah. The first game, I believe he only had 2 shots on goal.
Yeah.
I mean, they are shutting him down, and he is the lead guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's no question about that. Yeah, he is the lead guy.
You got to show respect to Toronto because they are playing with their hair on fire right now.
They are. I don't know if the Caps really wanted to see them right away in the playoffs. I mean, they're like I said, they're a young team. They're hungry. They have talent. It's not like they don't have talent.
No.
They're a very good team. So I don't know. Hopefully the Caps can get this together tonight and they can pull something out because they need this. This is a big game.
Yeah.
It's a very big game.
It was good to see Holtby had 47 saves, which is a career high for him. Obviously, it went into double overtime, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a big accomplishment. Holtby is still playing lights out. I mean, that one save last game where the the guy got around him on the right side. He just laid on his belly and kicked his pad out on the left side to stop the post and completely stop the guy. I mean, this is exactly what we want out of Holtby. I mean, the one thing about DC Sports that I can't stand is that they always talk about that we're going against the hottest goalie in the NHL, right? We're going, but why can't we have that, you know?
Yeah.
And we do. And it's overshadowed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But one of the things I wanted to bring up today was this era in DC sports is nothing that in our lifetime that we've ever seen. And we have the Wiz in the playoffs, a very, very good team that could very well go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They're a very dangerous team.
We have a Caps team for many years who could easily gone to the Stanley Cup Finals.
They're consistently, every year, they are putting out regular season. They're one of the best teams in the league, if not the best.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
And we also have the Nats, who have gotten way better from the days at RFK when I was going to watch them with Alfonso Soriano and Adam Dunn. I mean, they are light years away.
And it's not the Nats. Not even just like they lucked out with some people. I mean, they got some very good picks. They knew what they were doing. I mean, obviously the Strasburg and Harper drafts. I mean, they were given number ones, but I mean they've drafted very well.
Yeah, you have to give kudos, and it's just such a good time. I know that we want to harp on the curse and everything like that, but let's sit back and appreciate what's happening in DC right now.
Exactly. Yeah, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. This isn't going to happen too long, I don't think. I mean, it's rare that you have 3 of the 4 teams looking at you, Redskins, even though they're competitive. Yeah. 3 of the 4 teams that are actually they have a chance to make some noise in the postseason. And I mean, there is a realistic chance that at least one of these teams could bring home something.
Yeah, and I think this game tonight for the Caps is monumental.
Yes.
If they can pull this out tonight in Toronto and to be able to silence them for Game 2, they won't be as ruckus. They'll be able to come down because if they go down 2-1 in Toronto with one more game there, if we go even if they win Game 4 2-2, I mean you're looking at you're going to start hearing the echoes again of the curse, the curse, the curse.
Exactly.
I mean, Alan May came out and said that if the Caps lose this series, this could go down as the biggest upset in NHL history.
Really?
Which speaks volumes about the team that the Caps have. I mean, they are a juggernaut.
Yeah, there is no reason for the Capitals to lose this series. There just isn't. There isn't. There's no reason why they can't go all the way. They're dominant this season. They have been dominant.
One player that's really stuck out to me is Wilson. I mean, this is a guy that is the epitome of hockey. Yeah. The guy, he doesn't even though he got the Game 1 winner in overtime, this is a guy that doesn't care about shooting. This is a guy that comes out and just wants to hit you and wants to fight you.
Oh, yeah, he wants to set the tone.
I love that. Yeah. I love the tenacity. I love looking at a player and saying that.
Every team needs an enforcer like that. Every team does. Every good team has one. So, especially during the Stanley Cup playoffs, every team's coming out hot. Every team's coming out physical. You need that, and that's huge.
I mean, speaking to how good the Caps are, I mean, Tom Wilson is the 4th liner. On any other team, he's a 2nd liner, dude. Yeah. And that, just imagine how good that team is. Yeah. I mean, you always think about, like, with the NFL and other teams like this, you always look at them and say, years after, you're like, man, look at that Super Bowl team. Look at the teams that the guys they let go, and think about them being on that team and how good they were. Oh, yeah. And this is how I view the Caps right now, because they're not going to be able to retain everybody.
No, that's why I think last week we got into this a little bit. Realistically, this could be the Capitals' last real shot at winning a Stanley Cup and making some noise. I mean, they should be in do or die mode. Yeah, they have to.
Well, that was what they talked about with the Shattenkirk trade. Yes, is that they were saying that he's basically saying it's all now.
Yeah, I mean, we're renting him for this, and you need exactly.
He has balled out. I remember in Game 1, I actually made a note that he was pressuring early. Yeah. And often. Oh, yeah. And that's exactly what we needed. Yeah. I mean, there was a time last game that I think the Capitals, they had an amazing shift. I mean, the puck got down right behind the goalie, and then they made a shift, and Backstrom came in and almost got a goal right off bat. Yeah. I mean, they are clicking, and it's just too bad they weren't able to string it together. Yeah. But, I mean, they are fighting hard. And I understand everyone wants to talk about the curse, but let's just appreciate the competition that these guys, like what we're seeing right now.
Oh, yeah. This is what you want to see in the Stanley Cup playoffs. You want to see good games. That's why, I mean, the Stanley Cup playoffs is such a big deal. It's so popular. These games are intense. You want to see good series. You want to see the best teams go toe-to-toe. You want to see the underdog go fight the big dog in the yard. And that's what we're getting. That's what happens. And that's why the Stanley Cup playoffs is probably the best playoffs and all the major sports.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was talking about this over the weekend. Hockey is the best sport. I mean, you think about it. You have constant goals, constant action. You have big hits.
You have fighting.
And you have fighting.
What more can you ask for as a man?
It's there's guys getting their face gashed open, and they're getting right back in the hockey.
Who was that? I saw
I forget what team
picture
he
on
was.
ESPN. Yeah, when he came back in the game, got hit in the face with the puck. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I can't think about who it is. You guys, just real quick. I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I'm not sick, but I've lost my voice this past week, so I'm sorry if I sound a little bit weird. And
you always sound weird.
I always sound weird, but like this time, it's like. It's bad. I don't know what happened, but luckily it's back a little bit more today. So I'm just going to keep drinking beers about it.
You sound amazing, Mike. Don't worry.
Hey, thanks, Kyle. I'm all right. I'm the only person I know that loves the sound of my voice.
Me too. I just can't even comprehend how big this game is. Because if you go 2-1 there, I mean, that just gives you such an advantage to be able to.
That's huge.
I mean, I would say going 2-2 back to Washington is, I said it before, that it's not that good.
Yeah.
But if you go up 2-1 and they get the second game, I think that's better than losing the first game and winning the second. I know that doesn't make sense, but it gives you the kind of comfortable feeling that you got this.
Yeah.
And knowing that you walked into their building the first night, even though they came out firing, you still won.
Yeah. Can I just say real quick about the playoffs? Do you know how blessed we are for the championship games that we've seen in the past year?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
The Warriors blew a 3-1 lead to LeBron James, not the Cavaliers, LeBron James, and Kyrie's shot.
Yeah.
The Patriots came back 21-3, 28-3. One of those that came back.
28-3.
Biggest margin ever.
Halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
They were down 28-3.
And that's, I don't care what anybody says. You can bring stuff up. That literally just cemented Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion.
I argue against that because I don't want to go away from the Caps.
Yeah.
But I will bring that up later.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I have a huge argument against that.
Oh, yeah. We can get into that. And then I lost my train of thought. Who else was that? So we had. But you know what I'm getting at. We've been seeing some great. Oh, the Alabama Clemson game.
Oh, absolutely. That was
We have
amazing.
been blessed to see some great games when it matters, and you want to see that with the Caps. But when it's happening, you don't want to see it. I mean, that could happen. We'll look back and be like, dude, that was awesome. But right now, if that happened, I'd just be pulling my hair out.
Imagine, I know we talked about it last week, but imagine this area with the Caps in the Eastern in the finals. And then same with the Wizards. If they can if both those teams could get past round 2, imagine this area.
Yeah.
I know that Markieff Morris came out and said that the crowd was huge tonight and they were great last night. Yeah. I don't think they still had open seats. I checked ESPN and it said that they had overcapacity for seating, but there were still open seats.
No, there were. You could look at
that really makes me angry.
Oh my God!
Because these teams deserve everything.
I mean, look at what's happened. You know, let's get into the Wizards a little bit. Look at what happened with. Remember all those rumors last year? I mean, it wasn't necessarily the case, but John Wall called out the fans. Kevin Durant allegedly didn't want to come here because of the fans. Because we don't show enough love to these teams because really the only team that everybody's showing love for is the Redskins. I mean, that's obvious. We're a football city. We are, but you got some pretty damn good teams in our other major sporting leagues.
So you just cracked open Pandora's box. Okay,
let's get it going.
I have a legit pet peeve. I mean, this irks my nerves. Is when you talk to people, our peers, and they say, well, my grandfather was a Steelers or Cowboys, or my uncle was a Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
But you still root for the Wizards, Nats, and Caps. You know what that tells me? Is that when you became involved and you started liking that sport, you didn't want to be behind a team that was not winning.
Oh, yeah.
And that irks my nerves because you know what that's telling me? That tells me you still had the local feeling of rooting for that team, but you could only do it if they were winning. Yeah. And that kills me because I was there at RFK.
Oh, yeah.
I was there when the Nats were losing 100 games.
Yeah.
I was watching the Wizards when they were horrible, when they were horrendous, when they had the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
I was there for the Monday Night Massacre against Philly. Yeah. I was there for when Haloti Ngata ruined RG3's career.
Yeah.
I was there for that. I've seen the bad.
Yeah.
I've seen the horrible. I've seen all of this. And to see people say, well, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I root for the Caps. Yeah. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I root for the Nats. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it. I understand we're talking to our audience, and I'm really happy that you root for the team in the area.
Yeah, I mean, keep doing it. But
stop kidding yourself.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous because you don't like the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
You don't like the Houston Astros. You don't like the Pittsburgh Penguins. You don't like Pittsburgh doesn't have a basketball team, but the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah. But you're liking these teams around this area,
yeah.
And that's telling me that you only like them when they were good. And that's the one thing. One of the biggest things for me is loyalty.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I love every team in this city because I really feel like I root for the people that drive on the same roads I do.
Yeah.
That take the same way into work I do.
I mean, that's literally why they put sports teams in a city, is to get the city behind them. It's to give them. I agree. I hate that.
It's a huge pet peeve, and I'm sorry if I'm coming off brass or I'm angering other people, but that's a huge pet peeve of mine.
If you're getting mad at Kyle saying that, then it probably applies to you, and you know that you're wrong. So, just it is what it is. Just accept it.
I don't understand how you can root for a team when they're good because, I couldn't root for a team only if they were good.
Yeah, there's no point.
What's the point if you're not going to root for them when they're bad?
Yeah,
there's no reason behind it. There's no fun in it.
Yeah. To
see a team like the Nats grow from losing 100 games a season and to see them actually compete in the playoffs, to see the Wizards be like we said last week, the embarrassment of the league, and then to come out and actually being able to contend, and people are already talking about them possibly going to Eastern Conference Finals.
People are legitimately saying that the only team in the East that can beat the Cavs are the Wizards. The Wizards match up very well with them.
And that's why it's such a pet peeve for me is because I've seen all this and then all of a sudden, go Wizards, go Nats, go Caps. You don't care.
Just stop. I mean, keep doing it, obviously, but don't, just admit it. Just admit when you're wrong. All right, but one thing, let's get into a little bit more about the Wizards in Game 1. One of the big keys for the Wizards in Game 1, Bradley Beal and John Wall, they're going to be fine. It was how our big men matched up against Dwight Howard and Paul Millsap. They did a phenomenal job. They were so physical to the point that Paul Millsap, after the game, said, we were playing basketball and the Wizards were playing MMA. It was an MMA fight.
Love that.
I love that.
That's all I want.
That's what I want.
I want that fire.
Exactly. That's why Gortat, he has flaws, obviously. He's not the best center in the league. He's good, but he's a guy, he has said in the past that he wants basketball to be like hockey where you allow fights.
Yeah.
Gortat is a man amongst men when it comes. I wouldn't want to fight Marcin Gortat.
Absolutely not.
There's no way.
I can't stand people who go after Gortat. Try to say he's not good and whatnot.
He's a very talented center.
Do you see that every offensive play is based off of Gortat's screens?
He does a lot of things that don't come up in the stats.
And that opens up everything for John. John will come off the screen, and his first read is always to Beal. If Beal is open on the wing, he's there. Yeah. Beal's got the shot off. And Beal is automatic. I mean, we have the two of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, and Otto Porter and Bradley Beal.
For a long time, Otto Porter was leading the league in three-point percentage, and he got gypped out of the three-point shootout. Yeah. I love the way Otto Porter's playing because he's not going to put up 28 points every night. He's not, but he's a Swiss Army knife. He's a do-it-all. Like we were saying, he's a perfect replacement for Ariza on the wing. Yeah. I mean, he can defend multiple positions. He's intense. He can hit threes.
How about Kelly Oubre's defense?
I love Kelly. That's we were saying that Oubre was okay. Yeah, but both of them.
But his defense was amazing.
Dude, Oubre is an energy plug. I love Kelly Oubre.
Yeah,
Kelly Oubre's he's athletic. He's giving you 115% the entire time on defense.
I loved how, I'm not sure if you saw it. I was trying to tell you about it earlier, but at the end of the second quarter, Markieff was taking free throws.
Yeah.
And on his second free throw attempt, as he shot, Millsap said, his foot's on the line, his foot's on the line. Markieff Morris, with no hesitation, said, shut up. and then Millsap got mad, got in his face. It's just, stop it, man.
Millsap.
I respect the heck out of Millsap.
Millsap's a very good player.
He's the only one on their team that's doing anything.
Yeah, I mean Dwight Howard is washed up.
Yeah, absolutely. Millsap is balling out over Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
he is the only thing that's giving us fits right now. I mean, I know Prince is doing well.
Yeah.
Really well. The Hawks always have a brother with dreads that balls out for him. Carroll was before, and then Prince. We can't stop them. Yeah. But Millsap is the problem.
Millsap's he's their player. He's their star player. And
bad thing is Jason Smith got injured. I'm not sure how the extent of it is, but
that was terrible. But you can tell that we're getting in Millsap's head a little bit.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
these comments and what he's doing. Millsap had 19 points. They held him to 19 points. He only had 7 in the second half.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's crazy. That just goes to show. I mean, I love the combination of Morris and Gortat.
Yeah.
I love that. Morris, I mean, and that's during the offseason, everybody was, we need a center like a Hassan Whiteside. Somebody can block shots. Somebody can do this. But you're not going to get the energy that you get for Gortat. He's not going to do the little things that Gortat does.
Gortat cares.
Yeah, exactly.
Gortat's the type of guy that has like that chip on his shoulder, like wants to prove it because people, for some reason, just don't think he's very good. I mean, he's not a superstar.
He was good with the Suns.
Yeah, people, I guess fans of the NBA always, like, I understand that championship teams are based off of superstars.
Yeah.
And that's been the basis.
That's how the NBA is now.
For the past 10 years, at least.
Yeah.
You
Super
can go back
teams,
to say, that's the way it's been. But, like, to see a guy do all the nitty-gritty, dirty work.
Every team could use a Gortat.
Absolutely.
Somebody like that. Every team could.
His screens he's probably the best screener in the NBA.
Oh yeah. That's
Bradley Beal came out after the game and said that we don't have half the offense without Gortat setting his screens.
Yeah. They run a lot through Gortat with his screens. I mean, that's just their offense. That's what they do.
I feel like we have to do our due diligence and say that, like, let's talk about John. I mean, John with a 32-point and 14 assists.
What other John would we be talking
I know.
about? I am
It's
so
true.
stupid.
I mean, but 32 points and 14 assists?
Yeah. John Wall.
He balled out.
John Wall is criminally underrated because he doesn't have the luxury of playing with LeBron James. Like Kyrie Irving does.
Yeah.
I hear people all the time say, "Oh, Kyrie's a bit." Shut up.
No, he's
In
not.
what world is
Not
Kyrie
at
better than
all.
John Wall? John Wall is a pure point guard. He's probably the best pure point guard right now. Him and Chris Paul. I mean, Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry and James Harden. They're scorers. They're shooting guards playing point guard. John Wall is a legitimate all-around player. John Wall is, and the big thing for him is his mid-range game.
It is, and that was the one thing my
It has
buddy
improved so much.
Hizer was so critical.
We're talking about you again, Hizzard.
He was so critical of John. And I used to fry him up. I would say, dude, stop it. John is amazing. He is going to groom into a perfect point guard. Yeah. You need to give him time. He's like, well, he can't shoot. He can't shoot. Yeah. This past offseason, this man was like, yeah, I was wrong. Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, I own that. There were times where I was like, look, maybe Wall can't win on his own. But
nobody can.
Nobody can. Exactly.
I mean, look at Westbrook.
What he's doing.
Look at Westbrook.
Yeah.
They just got manhandled by Houston.
Yeah, their team is just ugh.
Yeah, I love Westbrook. I understand he's going to win MVP, even though
he should.
They exaggerate his stats. Have you seen that video?
No.
So somebody made a montage of basically whenever they have free throws, the big men are obviously right beneath the basket on defense on his team. And what they'll do is they'll separate. They'll let Russell jump in for that rebound. So they're padding his stats to get triple doubles.
Oh, yeah.
So, I understand. 60 double doubles, triple doubles is ridiculous. I will tell you that, but I will guarantee you that if the Wizards had the same motivation towards John, he'd be able to do the same thing. John has a double-double every night.
Yeah, he averaged a double-double for the season, didn't he?
Yeah. And if they really wanted to, if they want to say, John, take all the rebounds, every free throw, he would do it.
He would, and he could do it. But John Wall is that athletic.
But he doesn't care because he's such a team guy.
He's a true point guard.
Yeah.
That's what he is. John Wall, beside from his offense and his passing and his handles and, his new mid-range game and his athleticism, my favorite John Wall plays are the chase down blocks. He had a huge one.
Yep.
He had a huge one in game
Schrader.
1. Yep. He had a huge one in game 1. And John Wall he plays the passing lane so well. He's so long. He uses his athleticism. He's an all-around player without a three-point shot, but we got Porter and Beal to take three-point shots right now. And Bogdanovich.
Yeah, Bobo Drano.
Bobo.
But I would also want to talk about Markieff. I mean, Markieff.
I love Markieff.
He balled out. I mean, people were talking about how he wasn't carrying at the end of the regular season and his numbers were dwindling. But it went parallel with Jan Muhimi getting more minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And so Jan being out, you're starting to see Markieff in a full-blown minutes status. And you're saying, oh, my goodness, this guy is legit.
Markieff is another person who is criminally underrated for his role on our team. Yeah. He does everything Scott Brooks asked him to do.
There's a reason we went and traded for him.
Exactly.
We needed a stretch. He hates it when you say a stretch four.
Yeah, but that's what you want.
Let's be honest.
Just accept it. Yeah. I hate it. Never mind. I'm not even going to say it.
There's nothing more than I would get pure satisfaction from seeing Dwight Howard not win. I love it.
Oh, yeah, so do
Dude,
I.
Markeith blocked 2 straight dudes back to back.
Yeah.
And it was Dwight Howard, and then it was I forget, it was the Russian guy that plays for them. And I'll never see anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so happy you blocked Dwight.
Dwight, man, what a fall he had, man. I don't feel bad for him. I'm happy that it happened.
Yeah.
When he was with the Magic, it wasn't even close. He was the best center in the
prima
NBA
donna.
by far.
When I used to work at Noodles back in the day, there was this other assistant manager who grew up in Mississippi, and she talked to me. I was like, how you doing? Blah blah blah. Where are you from? Mississippi. And she's like, well, do you watch basketball? I said, oh yeah, of course I watch basketball. And she was like, well, yeah, I grew up with Shaq. Oh yeah, she was like, I went to summer camp with Shaq every summer. Her family is actually good friends with the Mannings. Yeah, when Eli had his kid, they actually sent her family cards. So she's very tuned in.
Cooper Manning's family.
Exactly, yeah.
Cooper's a famous one.
Coop. But she said, she was like, the one person I can't stand that I know that made it big is Dwight Howard.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of things about Dwight Howard off the court.
Yeah.
About just the way that he is. And I mean, some of that showed.
Yeah.
The way he left the Magic.
Yeah.
And went to the Lakers. The way he meshed with Kobe Bryant. First of all, how do you not mesh with Kobe Bryant? I get it, he can be selfish, but his only focus is winning.
Yeah.
That's all Kobe Bryant wants to do.
Yeah.
You shut up and you do your role.
I mean,
Get
if
your
Powell
ego.
can get along with Kobe, I'm pretty sure anybody
Well, yeah,
can.
I mean, Powell, I feel like Pau Gasol could be like a little pushover sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's why
I would agree. So would Dwight.
Yeah. I mean,
he
Dwight,
definitely is.
Dwight was the type of kid who, if you were playing on a cement court and you didn't pass him the ball for 2 suggestions, he would pick up the ball. That's his ball, and he would go home. He was like, you guys aren't playing anymore. You're not playing.
You didn't pass me the ball, dude. I'm going home.
Dude, this isn't my ball. Get out of here. I hate Dwight Howard.
I know. I'm so excited about this area right now. I mean, I know the Redskins aren't far off.
Yeah.
But it's so good just to be in this era because I was just so used to embarrassment.
Oh, I know.
I'm so used to despair and just seeing these teams compete the way that they are. I mean, we're not getting the Redskins yet.
Yeah.
But when's the last time that you saw the Redskins in all 16 games be competitive into the last minute of the fourth quarter?
Never.
Every single game was like that.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Even though we lost some of them, I know it was bad. But as a team, it's a learning process.
Yeah.
You've seen it. You've seen it through the Wizards. You've seen it through the Caps.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go through that process.
You have to.
You have to learn how to lose before you learn how to win.
Yeah, and that's the Wizards. Like, it was. Remember for when we Gilbert was balling out with Antoine Jameson and Crop Butler, and they were really. I mean, they were always competitive. I mean, they were. But then all of a sudden the Gilbert gun incident happened.
Yeah,
and then it was like after that, it just kind of fell off, and we had to grow and we had to build differently, which I love what we did. Besides the Jan Vesley draft. But
ridiculous.
We're reaching that point now where it's like, okay, now maybe we can be able to, even though I don't think we need anybody right now, attract some free agents, people who will come fill some roles on our team. But this Wizards team, man, they're very good. And we built this
One
team.
dark horse for the Wizards next year is DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
John Wall's boy.
Oh, allegedly, John Walls came out and said that Boogie's DeMarcus Cousins' nickname, that he said that he thought he was going to end up playing for the Wizards at some point. His contract's up. He hasn't been meshing too well with Anthony Davis down in New Orleans.
The things that scared me to death is knowing that Kirk could leave next year.
Yeah.
That John could leave the year following, and Bryce could possibly leave the year following.
I out of all of them, I think John Wall's the most likely to stay.
Okay.
I think John Wall will stay. Bryce, I mean, he has said in the past, obviously, he said things about how
he's a
his
huge
dreams
Yankees
to
fan.
play for the Yankees, but he was 16 when he said that. He's also said that he wants to be the type of player that's like a Derek Jeter who stays with one franchise his whole career.
I would absolutely love that and covet that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, Kirk, that sucks so bad. But let's be real. Kirk's gone. I don't blame him at all. I would have already left.
I mean, to hear that they didn't offer Kirk a contract 2 years ago when he was named the starter because they didn't want to upset Robert.
Yeah.
That's not how you run a football franchise.
No.
All these teams, look back at the Patriots of Richard Seymour. They traded him as soon as Bill Belichick made a note during one game and said, we need to get faster up front. Next game, Richard Seymour's gone.
Bill Belichick's also the greatest coach in the world at seeing when a player's time is up and getting him out of there.
So that follows into what I was talking about earlier. So with Tom Brady, I can't say Tom is the greatest of all time because I honestly believe.
I think Belichick's the greatest coach of all time.
So I honestly believe you cannot see that on a singular level, right? Every time you talk about Tom in the whole argument of greatest of all time, you have to combine him with Belichick.
Oh, yeah,
and I would easily say that Tom Brady and Belichick are the best duo of all time.
But, hands up, but then the other people, though, that you can say, I mean, you can say the same thing about Joe Montana and Bill Walsh.
Absolutely. Yeah. But my one point is, my greatest QB of all time. I'm a huge
Peyton guy.
My best QB of all time is Peyton because I have never seen a person go onto a football field with grown men who could knock the wind out of you at any point in time and be able to control it from second to the last second of the game. Yeah. I mean, when he stepped on the field, the defense was waiting for him to do. I mean, they had Madden literally changed their gameplay to let Peyton. When you went against Peyton as a computer, he was making checks all the time. They never had that before. Yeah, no. I mean, this is a guy who controlled everything from start to finish. This is a guy in Denver, or at his last year with the Colts before he got injured.
Yeah.
He was running practices. There's stories about how Peyton was injured and was sitting in the tub with a tablet watching the over-eye view of practice and then criticizing guys in text and like letting him know like, hey, he's doing this wrong, he's doing this wrong.
I agree. I'm a huge Peyton guy. I'm just saying when it comes to the numbers in the Super Bowls, you kind of you have to go with Brady. But if I'm starting a franchise, I'm taking Peyton. If they're both in their prime, I'm taking Peyton.
Yeah.
I mean, Peyton, I've never seen somebody so cerebral. But between the ears, Peyton never had the strongest arm.
No.
Peyton never threw the prettiest ball. He always threw lame ducks. But that guy understands football. That's why Peyton Manning, you need to be a coach. You need to be an offensive coordinator. I mean, he basically was.
Yeah, he was.
But you need that can't go to waste, man. He is the smartest X's and O's guy I've ever seen play the game, and we're lucky that we saw them playing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was in awe every time I saw Peyton play.
The way he controlled
the
game.
one definition of a good quarterback to me is is that it doesn't matter what wide receivers you have, you make the best out of them. And you could say that about Eli because Eli's done the same thing. And I hate to say it because of Gavin, but the Steelers. Yeah. I mean, Plaxico Burress, Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, they get rid of these guys and they just recharge.
They recycle them.
It's because if you have a good QB, that happens. That was the one aspect of the Kirk Cousins whole contract issue is the biggest glaring warning sign to me is that ever since Kirk has been the starter, ever since he's been here, he's had Pierre. But when he was a starter, he had Djax. Yeah. And now it's his first year without them. And the only normal guys that he's used to is going to be Jamison Crowder and Jordan Reed. Yes. And that is the biggest question mark I have. But I trust Kirk so much because I know the work ethic. I can see it.
Kirk, obviously you don't want to compare him to Peyton Manning. He's not Peyton Manning. But he is a very, very smart quarterback. He's somebody who he knows what he's doing. He picks up on things very quickly. You saw that during his first full season as starter, 2015.
Yeah.
Like midway through that season, when it finally clicked and they started putting the game on his shoulders, he took over. Kirk was dominant. Yeah. And before, I mean, he's just somebody with enough repetitions. Okay, he's good.
So in the 2014 season, RG3 gets hurt. Kirk comes in.
He had a few good games. He
had like 2 good games. And then the Giants game happened. Yeah. And then Jay said, you're a turnover machine. Jay comes from Marvin Lewis. And in Marvin Lewis's office, he has a poster that says, ball security is job security.
Yeah. And so that's what happened with Matt Jones.
Jay knows that. And so Jay said, sit down, you're turning the ball over too much. Yeah. When that happened, Kirk knew he wasn't getting back in that season.
Yeah.
So Kirk went and got a QB coach
and
worked specifically with him that whole season. And then you see 2015.
Yeah.
And that just shows like to his he didn't give up. Yeah. He said, you know what? I got to work harder.
Kirk's somebody who loves the game of football. You can, I mean, even look at the Pro Bowl. Look at his chase down in the Pro Bowl. He's playing 150%.
Did you hear about the flag football charity game he did?
Yeah, when he pushed the ref. He flipped out.
It's a
charity flag football game.
And he's pissed off because the ref's not getting away in time for him to snap the ball.
Yeah, the ref. So if you see, it's like towards the end of the game, they're driving down the field. Kirk throws a pass, it's completed. The ref goes and puts the ball down. Kirk's trying to run the hurry up. The ref's standing over the ball. The players are at the line of scrimmage. Kirk's flipping out, telling him to move. The ref is, for some reason, waiting to let him snap the ball. Kirk goes up to him, and Kirk pushes him, the ref, and he's flipping out on it. It's a charity flag football game, but that's just how much that dude loves
He is just
football.
a straight competitor, and there's nothing more.
I love Kirk.
him.
I wish that we did not ruin that relationship, man.
It's Dan. It's Dan.
It is. Oh, 100%.
I mean, everyone knows.
It's Dan.
Everyone knows that Dan and RG3 were hand in hand. I mean, they were best friends.
I mean, he was the chosen one.
Yeah, and it sucks because Kirk is the white knight.
Yeah.
You know, and he's the one that can bring us out of this despair that we've seen for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
I understand. I get it. The guy makes crucial turnovers in pivotal games, but it's a growing process.
Yeah.
Think about this. I want to look up. I wish I could look up this.
There was a while where Peyton Manning was doing that.
I want to look up the Redskins' offenses for the past 25 years and let me know how many times that we had a top 5 offense in there.
Yeah.
And I understand the argument. You should never pay a guy because of your past. I get that. But no, I want to pay him because of the past, because this is a puzzle, right? And this is the one piece of the puzzle that we have not had in 20 years. Yeah. And we have that piece. Yep. But we'd rather not pay him because possibly he turns the ball over too much. Yeah. If you have a top 5 offense, I don't care. I want you for the rest of your career, even if you make mistakes, because Joe Flacco proved it. Eli Manning proved it. You can be mediocre, but as soon as you get in the playoffs, just to get us in there. That's all you need as a QB. Because look at Houston. Look at these other teams that go in without QBs that got injured.
Exactly.
With great defenses, what happens? They lose. They're out. But if you have a good defense and you have a quarterback that is relatively good.
It's adequate. That can do the job.
You are going to go far.
You can go. Oh, exactly. Exactly.
And Kirk has that, because I really believe that Kirk has the mindset and the heart to say, I don't want to lay down during these playoff games.
Yes. Yeah. Kirk's already putting in work. Kirk and Terrell Pryor, Josh Doctson, all these guys, they're already working out right now. They met up a week ago, and they started running passing drills. And Terrell Pryor immediately came out, and he said, we're going to be great with this guy. We're going to be explosive. Jamison Crowder had an interview today. Yeah. And he said
we could be better than last year.
Yeah, exactly. And that's losing two people who you thought, I mean, obviously they were huge pieces, but there's so much talent on that offense. And you lose 2 guys, and then you bring in somebody like Terrell Pryor, Josh Doctson, so be healthy. I mean, Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis. I mean, Jamison Crowder in the slot. And then, you got a couple other guys. Maurice Harris. I like Maurice Harris as a 4th wide receiver.
I mean, his third down conversions that he had and those passes he was catching, I mean, he had one-handed grabs. I mean, those were pivotal downs, and he was getting for us.
Definitely.
We brought it up last week is I brought up Christian McCaffrey. And the reason that I think Christian McCaffrey is a perfect setup for us is because with Jay, I remember people were so mad about the Jay signing. They said, well, you could have done better, right? Everyone hates Jay for some reason. But
he was always considered like a great offensive mind.
I fell in love with Jay when I watched Hard Knocks.
So when he was flipped out when he was in
practice field, flipping out on them, but still being able to crack jokes. I love that.
Oh, players love Jay. Players love Jay.
And so when the whole reason I brought up the Christian McCaffrey thing is because Jay's best season offensive coordinator is when he had Giovanni Bernard as a rookie. Yeah. And so when you have Christian McCaffrey, you can go into
you can put him in that role.
You can go to a 3 wide receiver set, which gives you 1 tight end and 1 running back. Yeah. Now just imagine you got Terrell Pryor on the far left. You got Jamison Crowder in the slot. Then you have Josh Doctson on the far right. Yeah. You have Jordan Reed as your tight end. Yep. You don't even have to put him outside in the slot. You can keep him right there next to the tackle. Yep. You put Christian McCaffrey next to Kirk. You can run out of that formation. You can also pull Christian McCaffrey out into the flat just for the 5th wide receiver. And now imagine that every defense always has a linebacker on the field. And you're telling a linebacker to either cover Jordan Reed, Christian McCaffrey, or Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
That is deadly.
I love, especially McCaffrey. McCaffrey's going to play in the NFL. He's going to play such a hybrid role of running back / slot receiver. There's apparently some teams that view him as more of a slot receiver as compared to running back.
At the combine, he took routes outside. He didn't
they said
strictly go running back.
He had hands down the best hands. Of all running backs and better than some receivers at the combine. Did you hear what came out today about Christian McCaffrey?
That he's going to go top 15?
Yeah, team, an anonymous
You were right
team.
about that because I wish
I
you
said that last week, man. An anonymous team said that they are going to take, if he's there and the teams are going to take him, they don't know who it is. If you look at the draft, though, it looks like it's probably the Eagles.
But absolutely. I mean, would I like Dalvin Cook? This could be like a huge issue, like going forward in like 2 years. You'd be like, oh, you guys are idiots for letting him go. But it's just not something I want to see happen. I'm not excited about that.
I'm just going to be honest. I want to see a white running back. I do. It's not every day. An elite white running back. I'm not talking about like Peyton Hillis for 1 year. I want a white chocolate baby. I want him. I want him going.
He's a smart boy too. He went to Stanford. This is a guy that the big issue that I had that they didn't offer Chris Baker a contract was you saw with the Albert Haynesworth contract with like Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith and all these guys. The whole mindset of the Redskins outside nationwide was that guys came here just to get paid.
Oh, yeah. That's always been.
I remember in like 2010, 2011, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I just want guys here that want to be in D.C., that just love D.C. and want to be here and are actually motivated to stay here.
That's what it seemed like we were getting at with Scott before he started drinking some Jack Daniels again, allegedly, I should say, for legal reasons. But it finally seems like you turn the corner, and then all of a sudden, we talked about this last week. We won't talk about it that much more, but then all of a sudden you see Dan Snyder creeping in the shadows, and he's just, how am I going to mess this up this time? So what does he do? He fires the alcoholic. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with alcoholism.
My conspiracy theory is that because Mike Jones came out and said that, I think halfway through the first year, Bruce was quoted in saying that, how they were going to deal with Scott.
Yeah.
Instead of having to build the relationship, they were already talking about how they were going to end it.
Yeah.
And so my conspiracy theory about the whole thing is that Scott comes from the Ted Thompson tree in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that Bruce and Dan said, let's bring my guy on. I know his family. Let's bring him on. Let's take him for 2 years. And when we get the formula to drafting well.
Steal his formula.
Steal the formula. Get his draft board. Let's know what he thinks and how they draft people.
That is such a cartoon bad guy type thing.
Yeah.
He's just like your typical villain.
Yeah.
Let's steal the formula. That's such a Pink Panther type thing. I don't know. The whole Scott thing.
That's a huge conspiracy theory of mine. Obviously, it could be false.
But it would make sense. You act like they're definitely using his draft board right now.
Yeah.
They don't have a GM. They're using that. They're using his draft board. They're using his free agency list. I guess. I'm assuming.
I think they just said that just to make sure fans were okay.
Yeah, make everybody. Yeah, but
because when Scott came, Scott was like, I don't want free agents.
Yeah,
you bring free agents as a bridge, just to draft.
Yeah,
and obviously we know from the Redskins run by Dan Snyder's people and Bruce.
Yeah, they're going to spend money on free agents.
They're going to spend money on free agents, not just to bridge, but to build on. Yeah. And that's what you can't do.
And that's the thing, man. Dan Snyder treats the Redskins like he's in a Madden franchise.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's a Madden franchise with salary cap turned off.
Yeah,
so
it's exactly what it is.
It's so sad.
But he won't pay guys. Scott's guy was making Scott had one guy on his staff, and he was making $30K.
Yeah.
And Scott went to them and said, hey, can you get my guy a raise? He's working 60-hour weeks.
Yeah.
And they said, no,
we're good.
They just didn't give him a chance. They wouldn't allow him to bring anyone in.
Heaven forbid Dan Snyder had to spend more of his hard-earned money.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Another thing, Redskins, the Junior Gillette situation, that sucks. But the bright side about this Junior Gillette situation is there might be video. I would pay money to see that video of Junior Gillette getting tased. That would be the ultimate treat for me. That's terrible. We were literally just talking about Junior Gillette last week. I'm leaving and I get a notification as I'm on my way home.
I was like, oh my goodness. We took
Gillette.
5 minutes to talk about Junior, and now he's off the team.
And now, that's a very real possibility. I hope that, we talked about that before.
Yeah. So
I hope that doesn't happen.
So what happened is they got a call from basically a party or a concert saying that people were fighting. So a cop rolls up and he sees Junior on top of some dude just killing him. Yeah, just beating his face in.
Yeah.
So the cop runs up. And Junior dips. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, police! 5 I'm out to go." So he starts leaving. He's running away. The cop catches up to him and tases him.
Yeah.
Brings him down.
with the way stuff is in the world, he's lucky worse didn't happen.
Well, they said that he was completely cooperative after that. Obviously,
everybody's
got
going to be
tased.
cooperative after you get tased. I mean,
And then, so they said, but
my child was misbehaving until I spanked him, and then he was fine.
The guy that he was beating up did not even cooperate with police. Didn't tell him what was happening. Wouldn't talk to him. So obviously, Junior looks like the good guy because you don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people do. Cops have to expect that.
Yeah. Well, the cop even said, he was like, this is very minor. So if he sees any repercussions from it,
yeah. I mean, he shouldn't. But the only thing is, it's like and I understand the first two. Like that's not like a third chance with us. There's this third chance with us, and the first two weren't his fault. I mean, you can't help it if you tear your Achilles. Yeah. But it's just like I feel so bad for him, man, because he seems like he's such he means well.
I mean, he listened to our podcast for 15
minutes.
Oh,
yeah. You told me about that. By the way, Junior Galette, if you listen to this one, thank you. I love you. But also don't listen to it because we're talking about you right now.
But what a great guy, like, to take time out of your day to even just, like, listen to some random guy's podcast. I mean, it could be terrible. I'm sure it's terrible, but for you to actually do that, it just speaks volumes to the type of person you are.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that too. Yeah, on Snapchat, he wrote you and he said, he's like, "Hey man, I listened to about 15 minutes of it. Good stuff, man. Keep it going." That was cool. Thank you, Junior. You're the man. We hope that you stay on the Redskins this year if you listen to this.
I really hope he does, because if he can
especially
at least
with the Trent Murphy situation,
if you can get 6 sacks, I would be more than happy.
Oh yeah, dude. Our outside linebacker situation it was a strength coming into the offseason. It was definitely a strength. I mean, you look at Ryan Kerrigan, Preston Smith, Trent Murphy, Junior Galette. We were 4 deep at pass rusher. Now all of a sudden the Trent Murphy situation happens. Trent Murphy gets suspended for 4 games. The first 4 games for using a banned substance. And then this Junior Galette thing happens, and he could possibly miss some time due to a suspension, or maybe not even make the team. I hope that he does. But now we're looking at outside linebacker, and now we have 2 for sure that are going to play. One of them is very inconsistent in Preston Smith. And now that could be a position that we are looking at in the draft. Now you can't rule out. I mean, you can never have enough pass rushers, but now you can't rule out looking at somebody. If somebody's there, if Derek Barnett or Charles Harris is there at number 17, if he's the best player on the board, they might take him. There's a lot of different scenarios for the Redskins in this year's draft. You know, a lot of people. Everybody's talking about defensive line. There's not going to be many defensive linemen that are worthy of the 17th overall pick. There's a lot. The Redskins could go numerous ways. They could go left guard. They could go halfback. But a dark horse that I think that the Redskins might be able to do with the depth this year is take a cornerback. If somebody like Garyon Conley's there, maybe they're not sold on Breeland. I think that they are sold on Breeland. But that's a very real possibility. I mean, our corners, besides Norman, our corners played terrible last year. I mean, they played very bad. Yeah, crack that beer open, Kyle. Crack that open.
Oh, I'm trying.
I mean, that corner's a very real possibility in this draft, I think, and especially with this year's pool. They say that they have as many as 15 corners going in the first 3 rounds.
Really?
That is ridiculous. 15 of them. That's crazy. They could have 7 or 8.
In the first round?
Yeah. No, not the first round.
Oh,
the first 3 rounds.
I was about to say,
no.
Spots.
Half the first round's corners. No, they were saying 7 or 8 could go in the first round. 7 or 8. I mean, that's just unheard of.
It really is.
Yeah.
It just speaks volumes to this defensive draft and how good it is.
I mean, it also cornerback it's always been an important position. Then it fell off a little bit, like over the last few years with like not that many star players. But now all of a sudden you got a lot of good cornerbacks in the league, and you see that the best teams have a good cornerback. Most of them. Yeah. I mean, Richard Sherman, he was on the trading block. I mean,
Darrell Revis was one of the biggest
for a long time. Nnamdi Asamoah for a while was very good. For Oakland. Yeah, he was amazing. He sucked with the Eagles.
Well, because for Oakland, the whole argument was that they didn't have another corner, so they didn't have to throw at him. Yeah. So when he went to Philly, you saw people go, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah, that's
and it was nothing.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Philly also used him a lot differently than they did in Oakland.
Yeah. And if you can shut down one side of the field, think about that. Shut down one side of the field. You know how easy that makes everything else for everybody?
That's why I was reading some predictions on the draft and the offseason the rest of the way, and because Richard Sherman's on the trade block right now, they were saying a team that could realistically get Richard Sherman is the Cowboys. I would. You know, Jerry Jones would be the type of dude to do it. They're definitely going to take a cornerback in this draft, a corner or safety in the first round.
They have to. They don't have anyone else. They lost Claiborne.
They lost Claiborne, and they lost
Church.
Yep.
They also lost Jenkins.
Yeah.
And they also lost. We already said Claiborne.
Brandon Carr.
Yeah.
They did. They lost a lot on the back end.
They also lost Terrell McClain, who we got from them.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I don't expect anything from.
No. Him and Stacey McGee, they're good. They're serviceable.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're not. I mean, it's not like you can expect some like 10 sacks from these defensive ends.
No, not at all. I'm going in with a pessimistic view. Like I'm just like I'm expecting nothing. I'm expecting the same run defense last year's where everyone can just gash us.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, there's some big boys. I like for the Redskins. I feel like our ideal scenario for the first 2 picks. Number one, I like McCaffrey's there, but he should be gone. Dalvin Cook could be there. I mean, that could be big. Yeah. But round 2, Dalvin Tomlinson, the nose tackle from Alabama, big boy. He's apparently starting to move up draft boards.
I've been hearing about that.
Yeah,
and that's the guy that. Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it's like the third string defensive tackle. If I was a GM, I would only draft Alabama players. Like I don't care if I don't care if it's a punter or a long snapper. No. That's what I'm getting. I'm putting him straight on the defensive line and say, just do whatever you want to do.
Just do it. Nick Saban coached you up right.
My goodness, it's a complete powerhouse. I mean, it's just not fair against other college football teams that Alabama is just so good. I understand Clemson beat them because Clemson is also a huge powerhouse.
Yes.
I mean, South Carolina football
Clemson is becoming Clemson. Yeah. Clemson over the last few years. But one thing that we do need to get up in because we got like 7 minutes left.
Okay.
Right now, these go by fast.
They do go by fast, don't they?
Podcasts are cool. I like podcasts.
So let's run through the Caps, Wiz, and Nats.
We got to get to the Nats.
We never even got into the Kirk Cousins contract.
We didn't. We're going to save that.
Okay, we can save that.
But the Nationals, how about that Bryce bomb?
Oh my goodness!
On Easter yesterday,
it's amazing.
If you didn't see it, I mean the Nats. Well, we were down 4-3.
Yeah,
something like that. We're down 4-3.
Top of the ninth.
It's the bottom of the ninth. We're in Washington. There's 2 outs. Bryce Harper's at the plate. There's a runner on first and second. He has a full count. It's 3-2, and you just know. Mm-hmm. You just know Bryce is going to come through in this clutch. Throws him a fastball.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle. Harper knocks a tater. Dead center. Dead center. It's gone. And you knew it was going to happen. For some reason, I was just like, Bryce got this. It's Bryce.
You know how many cell phone footages I saw of that home run?
Yeah.
Like, people were just expecting it. Just had their phones out recording.
Oh, yeah. Everybody. It was just one of those things you could just tell.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was like when MJ against the Jazz. You knew MJ was going to hit that shot.
Yeah.
You just know, that's what he does.
Yeah.
That's what he does. And Bryce has been for a down season that he had last year, Bryce has been very consistent at being clutch.
There was a question last year that he was possibly injured. And he
was. I think he was. Me and my dad were talking about this. My dad's always been real into managing baseball, and he's taught hitting classes and stuff like that. He said you can just tell there's something in his neck. He wasn't turning fully. He was almost cringing every time he would swing. Okay. It wasn't the same swing. And that came out. They said that there might have been something wrong. In like May, they were like, what's going on with Bryce? Oh, he might be hurt. And then the Nationals are like, no, he's not. Like, what are you talking about?
They never said anything about it.
You could tell he was. And this year he's healthy again, and it's good. But the one thing that is going to kill us is our bullpen.
Oh my goodness, how bad is the bullpen?
Ridiculous,
it's pretty bad.
The Phillies were destroying us.
Every game. I mean, Dusty even tried to have Gio go 8 innings.
Yeah.
And Gio got a run scored on him, and they said, okay, we got to put the bullpen in. And Coda Glover gave up another run.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's so depressing.
I don't want to be depressing, but like,
that's what
can't do anything.
This is going to be a very long season if they don't do something about that bullpen. If somebody doesn't step up or they don't sign or make a trade, this is going to be a long season. Our starting pitching, phenomenal, great.
Absolutely.
Our fielding, our lineup, our hitting in the field, great. Position players are great. We have good depth. We have good utility players. but our bullpen is a joke.
It's bad.
What is going on with that?
Luckily, we still have the trade deadline. It's not all the way up to the All-Star
it's not
break.
over, but that's what we're saying is you need to do something.
Something has to. Someone needs to come up and step up and be that man.
Yes. Somebody does have to step it up, and right now it doesn't look like anybody's going to be that guy.
I mean, but how about Daniel Murphy?
Oh,
I mean,
dude,
I just love Daniel Murphy.
I love Daniel
He's
Murphy.
calm, cool, and collected at all times.
Yeah.
And just you know what he does? He just puts the bat right on the ball and just gets base hits.
Oh yeah, Daniel Murphy. Last year, Daniel Murphy, and he was criminally underrated last year.
Yeah.
He ended up. I mean, he got some postseason awards, stuff like that. But nobody was really talking about him like on ESPN. And ESPN is a joke now anyway. But a lot of people weren't. He wasn't getting the recognition as a lot of people would with those numbers. And he was playing lights out the whole year.
Yeah.
It wasn't just for a little bit. Like he was a god.
I mean, if you're hitting over 300 in the pros, you're doing something.
You're doing
right.
good.
And if you can do it 2 times in a row,
consistently.
Wow.
And I mean, he just built off that playoff run he had with the Mets. I mean, he was destroying.
All right, so I know we're running close here, but let's talk about some whiz and then the Caps just to finish off. I don't think we got into the Caps enough because that is our best bet to getting to the Stanley Cup. That's the best to a championship.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so huge tonight, but I have a good feeling about it, which is usually bad for me.
Yeah.
Usually very bad.
See, I mean, me personally, just being a DC sports fan, it's almost just like I expect to be disappointed. I expect to be under the Christmas tree and open up underwear and just be like, "What? Why was this in such a big box, Mom?"
I know it's such like a huge thing to say, but like I need a shutout from Holtby tonight.
Oh yeah,
if Holtby can get rolling, and also another key for tonight that I would say for them is that if one of the top 3 can get a goal, if it's either Backstrom, Oshie, or Ovechkin, I think that we have I would give us a 75% chance of winning if one of them gets a goal.
Oh yeah, one of them has to.
Defense has to strap up better. I mean, I know they're doing really well.
This
is a very
bad.
good, formidable team.
Yeah.
It's just if they can be able to do that, I just think it makes us so much better, and that we don't have to rely on guys like Carlson. We don't have to rely on guys like Wilson. And if we can just get up by 2 goals. I mean, we haven't had a lead, really, in this series. I mean, we've always just been down. Like, what is going on?
I mean, and you don't want this to go to overtime again.
No,
you don't.
This
is going to wear on you.
The Stanley Cup playoffs
They're
are
no joke.
Extremely tough, and if you keep going overtime in every game,
I'm sorry, you just physically you're not going to be able to do it. Like, I mean, that's so much strain, double overtime.
Yeah.
Like that's got to stop. They have to put this one away. They need to.
I mean, I honestly believe this can't go to Game 7. They have to finish it out in Game 6.
The good thing about if it did go to 7, I mean, Verizon Center's always rocking during the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fans show up to those games. It's not like the Wizards where all of a sudden I mean, the fans were good. They were. I mean.
But they could be much better.
But there could have been a lot.
I mean, I remember from the second to third quarter, I couldn't hear anything from the stands. I was like, "What? You guys should be going crazy right now."
Yeah, I know. And you know what it is? I love going to Wizards games. I love going to Nats games. I've never been to a Capitals games. I won't go to Redskins games anymore. But you know what?
What, you don't want to pay $20 for a beer?
No, yeah, that, and I always end up getting into fights. Like it's just how it is. But you know, I'm just gonna say this. Fuck it. I'm gonna end up going to one of these Wizards playoff games. I have to. But no, real quick, funny story about one time I was at me and Chris Marley were at a Redskins game. We were facing the Giants maybe like 3-4 years ago. We were really drunk. We ended up getting blown out. So we were walking out. So we see a limo pull up. And Marley, of course, I'm just like a follower, and Marley's like, "Hey, let's get in this limo." I was like, "All right, cool." So we got into the limo, and we're sitting there, and there's all this beer and liquor, and the driver's like, "Hey, where's everybody else at? Where are they at, man?" And we're like, "Oh, they're coming. Want us to go get them?" And he was like, "Yeah, go ahead." So we're like, "All right, we'll be right back." So he grabbed all the liquor and ran, which is just messed up. Don't do this. That's messed up. So we grabbed everything. We're walking. It had snowed, and there's these huge snow piles. We see all these people throwing snowballs over the snow pile. So I'm like, "Oh, that looks fun. Like, let me do it in the parking lot." And I do it. And as soon as I throw it, a Giants fan's walking around. I guess that we were throwing stuff at. And he sees me throw it, and he's like, "You're throwing stuff at my pregnant wife."
Oh, my goodness.
And I was like, "Whoa." And he's like, "You." And I was like, no, not me. But he caught me. But I will. 15 Redskins fans jumped in front of me, and they're like, "No, it was us." I was like, "Yeah, it was them," and I just dipped. Redskins games.
I have so many stories at Redskins games. It's unreal.
Yeah.
I snuck in beer to a Redskins game.
Did you? Oh man, how the hell did you do that?
I got in so they had the Bud Light Pavilion that they have.
Yeah.
Well, they have a middle gate there that's very they only use it for the people that actually work there.
Okay.
And so we were already in the Bud Light Pavilion, and Adam Hill hit us up. It's like, hey, we finally showed up. Come
Adam, you're getting mentioned twice now.
Right. He was like, hey, come hang out. I was like, well, we already gave our tickets in, and we're not allowed in if we leave.
Yeah.
So I went up to that middle gate, the Bud Light Pavilion. I was like, hey, man, my buddy, he just texted me. He's here. He's drunk. He doesn't know where he is. I know where he is. He's too drunk. I have to go get him. He's like, come on, man, I can't do that. And he's like, please. So I asked him. I said, dude, please, just let me go do this. And he was like, all right, that's fine. That's cool. He was like, and so I started walking out, and he was like, hey, man, hey. And I was like, oh, he changed his mind. I turned back around. He's like, just bring me back a couple beers.
Oh, what?
Okay.
You bet your ass.
So we went and we pre-gamed with Adam and them.
Yeah.
And we came back, and I'm telling you, every pocket was just filled with beers with me and Freddie.
I mean, how many pockets do you have? Were you wearing...
I was like wearing sweatpants. I was just making sure everything was sweatshirt, everything was stuffed in.
I was about to say, I was like... Don't tell me you're wearing cargo
There's nothing
jeans.
better than getting drunk at a Redskins game with not paying any money.
Oh, yeah. It's such a slap in the face to Dan. I think I'm going to start wearing Jinkos to Redskins game, bring those back with some Heelys. But what I'm going to do is, since the Jinkos are so wide at the bottom, I'm going to tape Bud Light and Fireball around my calf, and you'll never be able to see it because Jinkos are so baggy at the bottom.
I hope you pull it off.
I'm going to pull it off. If anybody can pull off Jinkos, that's not a juggalo. It's me. I will destroy that.
All right. Wizards?
Yes, WizKids.
What do you have them winning in?
I have the Wizards winning in 4.
Okay.
I think we're going to sweep the Hawks. I just think that
I have it 5. I have
you have
the
5?
Hawks winning
okay, I mean,
1.
yeah, I could see that.
I can see 1 in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I just think the way that we're coming out, and we are set up perfectly right now because we win this, and then, I mean, you're going to assume that the Celtics win their game, win their series, even though you never know.
They did lose,
but I do think that they're just too good. But we play very well against the Celtics, assuming the Celtics win. If they don't win, I mean, great, cool. We have a very real shot at advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Going against the Cavs.
Yeah, and the Cavs are going to, I mean... But
it's not,
if any team on the East can beat the Cavs, we match up very well with them.
Yes, we are. We have the best starting 5 in the NBA, and I will say that. People will argue about Golden State.
Yeah,
I don't care.
No, I don't care what anybody says. We have the best backcourt in the NBA. Wizards
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can make obviously Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, or DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, but for my money, give me John Wall and Bradley Beal.
And the Nets are about to start going against the Braves this week, which should be easy.
Should be. Then again, the Phillies should have been easy too, but
we still won 2 out of 3.
We did,
and also
we did.
We won 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals.
Yeah, I know that was
huge.
That's very big.
That's a confidence builder.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping that we use this series for. Is just kind of build, get confident.
But the Phillies, though,
I know.
What the heck is it?
Why did that happen?
I don't know. It makes me whisper.
12-0. I was crying when that happened.
Dude,
I cry a lot.
I was so bitter.
Yeah, oh my God. I was literally driving. I think I was driving here. By the way, real quick, shout out to Michael Winters for setting us up with all this. Mike,
and thank you to Extraordinary Entertainment. You guys, thank you for having us going in here and having like a professional setup.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't tell you how awesome this is.
Yeah. You guys need anything, photo booths, lighting, sound, DJs, an exotic dancer. Hit up Extraordinary Entertainment.
But for the exotic dancer, make sure you hit up Mike in particular.
Yeah, but I work for Extraordinary Entertainment, and I'm helping build it. But, yeah, I mean, you can hit my cell.
The exotic dancing is his own little side thing that he does.
Yeah, but it's like through Extraordinary. My body is phenomenal for guys with fetishes. I mean, girls with fetishes. Or guys. I don't know. I'm fat.
Guys fits.
Yeah. I'm a bear, as they call it in that community. A big, hairy bear. You'd think I'd be hairy, but I'm not.
Right.
Kind of smooth.
But we appreciate everyone who listened last week and are listening now. I mean, we can't tell you. I mean, I talked about this with Mike last week. Is like we're not doing this for any recognition whatsoever. Like I just love doing this. I love talking Washington sports. I love it. And just for someone to say that they spent an hour of their day actually listening to what we have to say,
I know, right?
I love that. I mean, I can't thank you enough for even thinking about doing that.
Especially, I mean, people have been real involved. I mean, they've been sending us questions. Which, by the way, next week we are going to be answering just about all the questions that we've been asked ever. I mean, but. People going out of their way to reach out to us and give us feedback and stuff. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Please keep listening. These are just as we progress and get more comfortable doing this, it's going to get better and better and better and better and better. We're going to have a lot of guests. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We have a lot of ideas. My uncle always likes to say, "I'm an idea man." I'm an idea man. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Please tune in with us next week. By the time we start recording next week, it will be after Game 6 of the Caps.
Yep.
And the Wiz should be with, I think, Game 4.
Yeah.
And so much. And then the draft is going to be 6 days away.
No.
4.
The draft will be on Thursday.
Yeah. So it's my birthday, actually, the 27th.
Is it really?
Yeah.
27th. So
it's going to be a fun week. Yeah, buddy. So we're going to have a lot to get into. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys tune in next week. Please like and share, subscribe our Facebook page. Thank you for tuning in. We love you guys.
Love you. Hey, and real quick, I'm sorry that my voice sounds so bad right now. I sound like a 90-year-old smoker that has been smoking for 93 years. Somehow that math works out. Thank you. We love you.
Redskins football. Woo!
HTTR. Hail to not Dan Snyder.